DAZN.
DAZN is the home of boxing, with over 150 live fights a year.
This fight has lived up to expectations.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
How do you like it? How do you like it?
That is unbelievable.
These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
Are you not entertained?
I'm not supposed to be cheering, but this is X Series. I can do whatever I want.
This has been a coming together. This has been a light bulb moment.
Two top promoters in the UK have never even met.
I know how to fight, and I'll fight to win.
It's their time. A night to remember.
It all comes down to tonight. Don't miss the biggest night in MMA. PFL is more than a fight.
Fight Week on DAZN is non-stop action. Access all areas of the biggest fights, even before the bell rings.
A lot of them.
You've seen it, haven't you? The smiling face. I've traced a string of deaths to you. Nobody has survived longer than a week.
I will not let this thing use me.
You're nearly out of time.
Smile too.
The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
This is the moment the world has been waiting for. The judges are ready, the fighters are ready, the boxing world is ready. The fight starts now!
How do you like it? On the show.
So aggressive, so focused.
It all comes down to this.
Fight night, only on DAZN.
All right, Muhammad Alakal, the surgeon Ben Whitaker, Skye Nicolson, the current WBC featherweight champion, the enigma, Mr. Chris Eubank Jr., and I think the best cruiserweight in the world, Jai Opetaia. We are here, day 3, press conference day, which means we are 2 sleeps away from the main thing being Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol. Press conference starts right now.
Legend tells, at the peak of the highest mountain, there lay dormant for thousands of years a mystical crown with the power to rule all of mankind. Lusted by men, willing to die for its gift. while two emerged undefeated. There could be only one possible outcome. For one to wield the power to rule them all.
Here we go. Day 3, people. That means we are 2 days away from the big one, the 4 Crown Showdown. Today is press conference day. We're going to hear from all the fighters. And it's going to be a bit special as well because I think the fighters are going to start talking. I think Beterbiev is going to say something, and I think Bivol's going to... You laugh at me. You're like, Darren's laughing at me like it's not possible.
For me, it doesn't matter if they do or they don't, if I'm honest, because this fight will deliver either way. I can't see how it can't. That first bell's going to go, and straight away they're going to lock horns, and it's going to be so interesting. It will be interesting to see if they've got anything last needs to say and getting ahead of one another, but I just think the fight itself is going to be electric.
Yeah, it doesn't need selling as well. Just to kind of tell you how this is going to play out, so it's going to be 2 separate press conferences. We've got the main and co-mains. You've got Artur Beterbiev, Dimitri Bivol, Fraser Clarke, Fabio Wardley. That's the main press conference, but first, behind us, we've got the Undercard press conference with all the other talent as well. So 2 separate press conferences, which I don't mind, because I think trying to get through 100 fighters on stage is quite ridiculous sometimes. Barry Jones.
Yeah, I think so. It's good. Yeah. What, ridiculous Barry Jones. Yeah, and you want to get the focus on the main fight. This fight is not just a great fight. It's a significant fight in boxing history. So you want to have the limelight on its own. And of course, Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clarke. That was such a great fight in itself. And 2 heavyweights who might announce themselves to the world stage if they can get the win on Saturday.
One thing that we have seen is some incredible fights in the past from both men as well. You know, we're going to, throughout the show and tomorrow at the weigh-ins, we're going to see their record sort of pop up. Who has the better record? Who's done the better work at 175 pounds?
175 pounds, I think you'd have to say Beterbiev. But the one name that stands out, and this is a big argument for the pound for pound, is the win over Canelo for Bivol. But I think if you're looking at the division and the division that is taking place on Saturday night, you'd have to go with this man here.
With the Canelo win, Barry, because I almost feel like it's overlooked because everyone says, oh, Canelo jumped up from 168 to 175. Isn't the win more about going to Vegas and beating Canelo in basically what is Canelo's backyard?
You've been to a Canelo night, so you know what they're like. And people, you know, the intimidation factor is real. Even if you're not fighting, you feel intimidated. So what's it like when you're an opponent? It's horrible. But I mean, and more so, people say it was about the size, and size did play a factor, but it was the intelligence. Yeah. How he studied Canelo, how he read him. Every time Canelo throws a combination, he has a little gap before he goes again, and Bivol worked off that gap, and he punched strong, he punched straight, and he pushed him back, and he was fantastic. So it wasn't just pure strength. It was technique, it was guile, it was boxing brain that beat Canelo.
And you know, when we talk about sort of size as well, I'd love to know what both of these guys weighed on the night. I don't think it'll be too much of a difference here because we know Canelo really sort of swells up as well. But look at this. I mean, is he going to need to do a bit of this to Beterbiev?
Yeah, he will need to pick his moments, 100%. You've got to gain respect early, and that's exactly what he done against Canelo.
Long,
exactly. He's got to keep it long. He's got to be smart. Look, he can be busy with the singles and the doubles. He can't afford to be greedy. He's very smart, Beterbiev, the way he'll just sort of change up the power of the shot, sort of lure you in. You think you can start exchanging with him, and you get caught, and you get knocked out most of the time.
I would just say, you can't throw 6 with Beterbiev. Don't get too greedy. Do you know what I mean? Cause
3 and then run.
Yeah, I think so. But you know, but again, I always talk about that semicircle. But I think you've got to throw, and Bivol bounces back, and that's a worry for me. It works so well for him, but against Beterbiev slides into the distance, and he'd be physically stronger than Canelo, if I can believe this. I can say that. And I just think that if he can block some of those shots from Bivol, and Bivol bounces out, if he slides in, Bivol's in trouble. So it's almost like a half a slide, and then you've got to go left or right. You've got to pivot out of the way. You've got to go on the outside, the blind side of Beterbiev, so he can't fire back and hurt you. It's
such a good clash of styles.
And that's why it's so intriguing. That's why it is a 50-50 fight. It's easy, I think, when we ask you what is Bivol's best win, right? Canelo. Everyone will say Canelo. When I ask you the same question about Beterbiev, it's 20 fights, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. Take your pick. What's the best win?
Yeah, Smith. Both Smiths. Look, Callum Smith, he was touted, I think, being very destructive and very good at light heavyweight, but this man just ripped up the script. He's just, I mean, this fight, he was dropped against Callum Johnson, but just showed that he's still resilient, can still jump back onto his feet. Another good win here. Look, he's such a good finisher. He really is. The variation, that right hand's so dangerous because he'll sort of bait you into think the shot's coming straight, then he'll just go wide with the shot. He's dropping people with jabs. There's absolutely everything. This fight here was impressive as well. He dropped Johnson with a jab here against Smith. Just relentless, Barry.
But also, what he does so well is he's power. He's all power. But what he does so well also is he mixes up the weight of the shot. So he's not everything's everything he's got. So sometimes he'll touch you just a little bit with the shot. And it's hard to read the tempo of a fighter. See, once you get hit with a heavy shot, Dad, especially on the arms, you can cover it up and you can almost get used to the power. That's not as crazy as it sounds. But he changes the tempo, and that's what makes him so good.
You know, seeing those pictures there, the nightmare seems to be if you're stuck on the ropes with him, you're bang in trouble. If you're stuck on the ropes, there's no way to go because he doesn't seem to let you out. He doesn't give you an exit, does he? He says, okay, you're staying there. No, you are staying there. Obviously, that is a world title fight. That's for everything at 175 pounds. There are other world title fights on the card as well. And I think this guy is the best cruiserweight in the world.
We've been training and working our ass off ever since I can remember. You know what I mean? Like, we were coming through the rankings, not a fucking dollar to our name, you know, struggling. And we waited for opportunities like that, you know? So it means too much to give up. I feel like this is where I'm meant to be. You know, my life has been molded and built to be on these big stages. It's been a crazy journey, you know, but it's getting good.
My earliest memory of Jai, we were on a futures training camp when we were probably 14, 15 years old. And we were a group of young athletes who were told we're the future of Australian boxing. We were the ones that were picked out as talent and of people who could potentially be future stars. To have gone on and actually achieved what we have, I think it's hats off to Australian boxing.
I think people forget this guy was one of the youngest Olympians for Australia as a boxer. I think he was 16 or 17. So he was fighting men at the Olympics at 16. Again, it goes to that fear thing. He has no fear.
Honestly, at the time, it was massive, you know what I mean? Like, being a young kid, being all over the world. But it's my apprenticeship to where I am today.
I mean, it was exceptional, and what was so exceptional about it is the age in which he competed in these major tournaments. Not just competing, but qualifying for the tournaments. They're so tough, and it just shows the mental toughness of such a young man.
I knew that it was big deals back then, you know, like you're fighting for world titles and, you know, world championships, but the experience that I got when I was a young kid, and I'm lucky I got to do it young. Every weekend was a different tournament. You know, we had like 14 fights in like 4 weeks, stuff like that. Like, it was just, it builds you, you know, you understand what you're made of, you get uncomfortable. You get comfortable being uncomfortable.
I think his kind of stamp on the world scene came later than, I guess, the Australian boxing community, who have known Jai right from the beginning and have always known what a talent he is since he was a young amateur. He's been extremely talented from the start. The world's only just getting to find out, and I just think there's so much more to come from Jai.
I'm confident walking in the gym because I know I dedicate myself and I tick every box. I know these guys can't take me deeper than what I already take myself. You know, I chase pain at the gym, you know, push through it all, so.
I think Jai has the potential to go down as a pound-for-pound great.
And hopefully we have unifications and undisputed fights for him in the future, because I think he's ready to dominate the division.
I want to undisputed cruiserweight champion, then we move up. We can go to bridgeweight, win a world title there, go to heavyweight, win a world title there. I honestly believe I can do these things.
Jai Opetaia, the current IBF Cruiserweight Champion of the world. There he is. There's the man a lot of people believe, not just the IBF Cruiserweight Champion, a lot of people think that he is the best cruiserweight in the world. And there's a lot of talk about going up to bridgerweight, maybe even heavyweight. he has to get past Jack One Smack Massey on Saturday, and that's no easy task. Obviously, Jack Massey coming off that really good win against Isaac Chamberlain, Selhurst Park. Last time out there is with his fellow Australian, Skye Nicolson. She defends her WBC featherweight crown against Raven Chapman. Really good card. We are at the Cube, and look who has joined us in the studio. Mr. Boxer himself, Ben Shalom. Ben, you got 4 fighters on the card. On that piece, obviously, we just saw Jai Opetaia. He takes on your guy, Jack Massey. What chance do you give Jack? Take your promoter hat off. As a fan, what chance do you give Jack?
Look, it's a tough fight. I have to say, with Jack in there, we have a lot of cruiserweights, but I've known Jack for a long time. We've grown up in Manchester. I've seen what he's had to do to get here. I remember when he gave him that Joseph Parker fight. I remember being slaughtered, like this was a lamb to the slaughter.
I might have tweeted you as well. I might have said, what are you doing?
And it was on the Eubank Smith pay-per-view bill in Manchester, so hometown, we all know everyone, and he's coming out against a heavyweight, top 10 heavyweight that's gone on to achieve amazing things. And I thought, shit, this could be rabbit in the headlights type stuff. You know, the size difference was clear. He went in there, he gave shots, he took shots, he was calm, he enjoyed it. It was a huge, huge moment for him personally. And that's what gives me confidence. I feel like sometimes with fighters, you think maybe they do have the ability, maybe they do have it, but when on the big stage, it becomes rabbit in the headlights. We're not going to see that with Jack. I promise you, we're not going to see that.
And I think, to be honest, I think he takes confidence away from that, most importantly. You know, he was in there with a big guy, he took some big shots, and now he goes in there knowing that if he wants to, he can try and force the pace.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Jai, for me, is such a superior cruiserweight in the sense of what he's achieved so far. But Jack Massey gets through those first few rounds, and I think that's the plan. He can take him, and then we'll have a real fight, and he's got a big, big chance.
Do you think this, for me, the strength for Jack is his structure, because he keeps his shape really well, and that's what helped him in the Parker fight. So, you know, when he was in punches coming at him, he didn't panic, he kept his hands up nice and high, but he fires back as well, and his feet are better than people think.
And that's what he'll need to do. Those early rounds, we know what Jai's going to do. He's going to come at him so strong. He's so, if you think to the Bradis fights, it's always late on when Bradis was coming on. We just feel that first 3, 4, 5 rounds, if he can come through unscathed in the fight, he's got a real chance. And Joe Gallagher's been planning for this meticulously for many, many months. So we got a chance, and hopefully sets up a unification with Crystal and Smith.
Can we go back? Can we go back to the stage, please? What is that on stage? Has Chris Eubank got a sword with him? Is that what I saw? I mean, he's wearing the regalia, but I'm sure I saw a sword as well with Chris Eubank Jr. What do you make of Chris? Obviously, look, you signed him, and we were both there at that press conference. We're not going to go back to what he said at the press conference. But what do you make of Chris, the enigma? Obviously, been calling for big fights. He's got a sword with him.
I love him. I think he's an entertainer. I think he's so calm at the moment. He's enjoying his boxing. He's been in and out of love for the sport for almost his whole career. I feel like he's realised, I'm 35 now. Yeah. I've got 18 months to absolutely smash the shit out of this, and that's what I think he's going to do. He needs a big performance on Saturday, and then we get the big nights ahead.
Wardley, Fraser Clarke. Yeah. What a fight. Round 13 for you?
I hope not. I actually hope that Fraser will now step up a level. And that's what I believe might happen. I think it was an unbelievable fight. I think it was a new experience for Fraser, a very early experience for him in his professional career, but I'm hoping he got 3 or 4 fights worth of experience from it. I really think now he has to step up, show his talent, show his pedigree, show what he's learned, and show a level above Fabio Wardley. Look, we'll see. It's going to be an unbelievable fight. It's the one I'm looking forward to the most, but obviously I hope Fraser Clarke will step up.
Ben, you know you can't swear on DAZN.
Sorry.
It's okay, it's okay.
I actually thought DAZN, anything goes.
No,
Use the Skyway, you don't. I thought DAZN.
No swearing on DAZN, Ben. No, sir, that's okay. All right. Fighters are ready, I can see behind us, as is Thomas Tribus. Let's throw it down to your MC.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the press conference for the 4-Crown Showdown, a great night of World Championship Boxing this Saturday from Kingdom Arena in beautiful Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We would first like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the 2 holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, Gia Turki Al Sheikh. This great event is being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, Gia, with Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, Bob Arum for Top Rank Incorporated. Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing. Gold Star Promotions, Boxer, World of Boxing, and Sella. Along with our great sponsors. Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Suleiman Al Habib Medical Group, Saudia Airlines, New Muraba Development Company, and Lucid Motors. A big thanks to those great sponsors. This great event will be shown in the UK and worldwide on DAZN, in the UK on TNT Sports Box Office and Sky Sports Box Office, and in the United States, the main event exclusively shown on ESPN+. Let's now welcome the Part 1 participants of today's press conference. Jesus Gonzalez, Mighty Mohamed Alakel, Liam Cannonball Cameron, Ben the Surgeon Whitaker, the Omen Raven Chapman, future undisputed Skye Nicolson, Camille Shirameta, Chris Eubank Jr., Jack One Smack Massey, Jai Opetaia. And now, here is your host, Mr. DAZN.
Thank you, Thomas Treiber. Brilliant announcements, as always, as we expect from Thomas Treiber. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Wherever you are joining us around the world, you are very, very welcome. Just as we catch our breaths from an epic night at Wembley Stadium, we are now just hours away from another Riyadh season special. And in the space of 1 year, Riyadh season has completely changed the face of boxing. We have witnessed a series of magical Arabian nights around the world with twists and turns, all writing new chapters, new pages into boxing's history books. Who can forget Tyson Fury's fights with Francis Ngannou, Alexander Usyk in Riyadh? The world was watching on in awe. Los Angeles played host as pound-for-pound star Terence Crawford became a world champion in weight division number 4. And just last month, Wembley Stadium, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, attendance records were broken, and we heard a huge Wembley Stadium roar. Each of these Riyadh season events are knockout after knockout after knockout, and that knockout streak very much continues on Saturday night. The Four Crowns Showdown will pit Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol finally in together. We will decide the first undisputed world light heavyweight champion of the 4-belt era. It's everything that Riyadh season is about. It's the best versus the best. And as you can see from this part of the undercard here, we've got some star power, we've got some raw power, and we've got some fighters very much at the forefront of history. Let's speak to a young man making his professional debut from Saudi Arabia, born in Riyadh, Mohamed Alakel. Mohamed, great to see you. You got a great ovation last night at the workout. You had the Saudi Arabian flag. You must have been watching Riyadh season thinking, I want to be part of this. Big night for you.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. You know, 3 days away, all the hard work is done, so yeah.
What is the dream?
To reach the top and become a world champion.
You going to make Saudi Arabia proud?
100%.
Good man, thank you. You will be taking on Jesus Gonzalez. Jesus, an opportunity for you on a big stage to come and spoil the party. Tell us how you're going to win.
Jesus, es una gran oportunidad para ti en lo más alto de boxeo. ¿Por qué crees que estás capacitado para dar la sorpresa y decepcionar a los fans locales que van a estar apoyando a tu rival?
Pues venimos trabajando duro para ese momento. Siempre me he sentido capacitado no solamente para esta, sino para mis peleas anteriores. No me gusta dar detalles tampoco. De donde vengo, en Colombia siempre se dice que es mejor hacer las cosas callado y dejar que el momento hable por sí solo. Con toda, con la bendición de Dios y para adelante. Lo que sí me queda por decir es que gozaré el momento, bendecido me siento y también agradezco a los promotores por esa oportunidad de estar aquí en una de las veladas que la verdad, wow, sorprendido y feliz porque sé que voy con un buen oponente.
Well, he's enjoying the moment to the max. He's very, very surprised how nicely the people is treating him, but he has been working all his life not only to take this opportunity, but every single fight on his life. He doesn't want to go into the detail, but he has a hard life up there in Colombia, and they want just to make the moment to speak for itself. He's ready for whatever, to be at the top of his game, to take the opportunity of his life, and he wishes his opponent luck as well.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Jesus. Thank you, Mohammed, as well. Big fight on Saturday, the debut of Mohammed Alakel. Let's move to the light heavyweight division. Of course, we know the main event is Beterbiev Bivol, but we've got two light heavyweights here who also want to achieve big, big things in the sport. It's the Riyadh season debut of Olympic silver medalist Ben Whitaker, but he's in deep. He's in what should be the toughest test of his career against Liam Cameron. Liam, I'm gonna come to you first. Ben Whitaker is a man who has a bit of a target on his back. He's got people talking. Why are you the man to beat him?
Because I'm the Sheffield's Beterbiev, and I believe in myself.
Sheffield's Beterbiev.
100%.
Tell me, you've mentioned something about Naz wannabes. I heard you say something like, I've seen plenty of Naz wannabes over the years. Is that all Ben Whitaker is to you, a wannabe?
No, not really. He's a silver medalist, but we've seen a lot of Naz wannabes. I think Naz said there's nothing like him, but we'll see, innit?
Do you want him to showboat against you?
I hope so.
Well, let's hear from the surgeon, Ben Whitaker. It's a Riyadh season debut. I heard you say that you've been boxing guys like this since you were about 10 years old.
Yeah, man. You see these kids in the gym all the time. Come forward, swinging like a madman. That's music to my ears.
We're just going to have a special pause to welcome a special guest. Bear with us. Okay, at this moment, I'd like to welcome His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. Great to have you here, Your Excellency. Ben Whitaker. So, this is the man, right? People are saying Liam Cameron will take you into deep waters. He's the toughest test of your career. Do you believe it?
Well, it's a good job I can swim. All the yapping's over now. The hard work's being done. Saturday, I'm hoping to turn up in good shape, because I'm in amazing shape. I'm feeling smooth, I'm feeling sharp. And if you don't turn up how I expect him to turn up, it's going to be an early night.
Like Ezra.
Bro, you said you're a Sheffield Beterbiev. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Is it?
Just be yourself. Turn up Saturday, and I'll punch that big-ass nose off your head.
You talk, you've cut your noodle head, haven't you?
Hey, man, I look fly. I don't know what you look like.
Yeah.
You don't like you're in Ibiza with them shorts.
Yeah, you're cocky, mate. No one
No,
likes
it's
you in British
confidence because I work so hard.
No one likes
I work
you in British
hard,
boxing, mate.
3 times a day.
You've done it all yourself.
Ask Grant about me. They know what I do to people like
better.
you. They know what I do to people like you.
You've been showboating.
They know what I do to people like you. You stand there, you get hit all day. It's going to be a long night for you, man. I hope you make it home nice and safe after this, but I'm going to brook you up in that ring.
Yeah,
and
same as Ezra. We've heard it all before.
Yeah, man. I've heard it all before as well.
Liam, what do you think people will be saying about Ben Whitaker on Saturday night?
He's amazing. He stole the show. damn, that boy is good.
This
That's
guy
what they'll be
thinks
saying.
he can beat Bivol and
That's what they'll be
Beterbiev.
saying. What, so you don't think you can? You're in the wrong sport, then if you
He's
don't think you
deluded.
can beat them, you're
No,
in the
you've
wrong
got to be
sport.
real with yourself.
You're in the wrong... I'm real with
You've gotta be
myself.
real with
Your hardest fight was Lyndon, who's washed up. Exactly.
IBO world champion.
I don't care what
Number
he is.
6
I don't
in the
care
world.
what he is.
Of you box. The guy,
I'll be boxing you.
the Leon
I'll be
guy
boxing
took
you.
3 rounds off
Hey,
you.
put me in there with Lyndon. It would have been smoke season. Like I'm going to smoke you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Liam.
Thank you very much.
So there's 2 light heavyweight fights this Saturday. I think we got a little bit more out of Liam and Ben than what we maybe will out of Beterbiev and Bivol later, but do stay with us for that. Brilliant fight on Saturday night. Let's keep things moving. We have a little bit of history. The first female world title fight in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will take place on Saturday. It's the first female fight of Riyadh season. Skye Nicolson defends her WBC featherweight title against the challenger Raven Chapman. Now, Raven, I'm going to start with you. You say you treat every fight, really, like a world title fight. Well, this one actually is. There's the belt. There's Skye. Tell us what's going on in your mind.
Firstly, we'd just like to say a big thank you to Turkey for this opportunity and for Frank and Eddie also for making it happen. Yeah, it's the belt I've wanted. You know, we've been going down that WBC route and now's the opportunity. This one's the actual world title fight and I'll make sure it goes the same way as all my other fights have gone.
I've heard you say that you are a nightmare for Skye Nicolson and that she will hate every second in there against you. Tell us why.
It's how I fight. It's how I make all my opponents feel when I'm in the ring. I don't think any opponent I've had has enjoyed any second of a fight that we've had. And Saturday it's going to be exactly the same.
Let's bring in the champion, Skye Nicolson, here. You've had a smile on your face all week. You look like you enjoy every second. But Raven says you're going to hate every second on Saturday.
I think she's going to hate every second of Saturday. She's definitely never fought anyone like me. And she says what she's done to all her other opponents, but it's going to be a very, very different story on Saturday night.
I've heard you say, Skye, that you always see your opponents get frustrated. You see that frustration in their eyes. How long do you think it will take before Raven is frustrated on Saturday night?
Very early in round 1.
We'll see.
Raven,
We'll
you've
see.
every right to reply.
I'm not like any opponent she's faced either, so we can both say that she's had opponents that have been very much picked for her style. I'm not that. I'm not good for her style.
I've had aggressive punches come at me for 10 rounds and not land a shot.
In a straight line.
What'd you say, sorry?
Just come at you in a straight line. No real boxing ability there. They've been picked very well for your style.
Well, you'll come at me at angles and the same thing's going to happen.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We will see.
Raven, you've got plenty of support with you, by the way. We can hear you, Team Chapman out here, Team Oman. But tell me this: you don't believe Skye Nicolson. You've said this a few times because look, Skye's very confident. She's every right to be, but you're saying it's false confidence. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I just think she's trying to portray this aura of high confidence that I just don't believe it. I don't believe she's as confident as she's trying to portray that she is.
If she's seen me at every other fight week, in my last 11 fights, I'm always this confident because I back myself. I know the hard work I've done. I know what I'm capable of. And this week is absolutely no different.
Well, Skye, I know you believe in manifestation. What have you manifested for yourself on Saturday night?
12-0, 12th of October, and still.
And Raven, your right of reply as challenger heading into Saturday.
And the new 10-0, another KO.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 2 brilliant fighters, 2 unbeaten fighters, history in the kingdom. The first world female title fight in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the first female fight of Riyadh season. Cannot wait for that one. Well, let's head to the middleweight division where one of the enigmas of professional boxing and Chris Eubank Jr makes his return, makes his Riyadh season debut. against Kamil Szeremeta, former European champion. And Kamil, I'm going to come to you first. This is a big opportunity. A lot of people want to fight Chris Eubank. You are fighting him. How are you going to beat him on Saturday?
Dlaczego to ty jego pokonasz?
Na wstępie chciałbym przywitać wszystkich tutaj serdecznie i podziękować organizatorom za to, że mogę tu być.
First of all, I would like to thank the organizers.
Jestem doświadczonym zawodnikiem, dużo widzę, mam dobrą obronę, a resztę po prostu chcę pokazać w sobotę wieczorem i wygrać tę walkę. Kocham się bić, kocham boks.
I'm well experienced, I'm smart in the ring, I can adapt my style, I can switch my style. I love to fight.
Okay, thank you, Kamil Szeremeta. Chris Eubank Jr, Riyadh season debut. It looks like you are embracing the culture. Tell us how you're feeling ahead of what should be an active year for you, where you've got plenty of plans, Chris.
Well, right now I'm very hot and I'm very thirsty. That's how I feel. But I'm ready. I'm confident. I look good in this Saudi attire. I feel strength, and this is an amazing event. It's an amazing city. We have amazing people here, and I'm ready to put on a show.
Chris, we've seen a lot of upsets in Riyadh season, particularly from fighters coming off a bit of a layoff. Deontay Wilder, it's happened a few times. How do you ensure that you don't fall victim to that on Saturday?
A lifetime's worth of preparation and dedication is how you make sure you don't slip up on fights like this. People ask about, was the camp good? How's your weight? How you feeling? It's not about a camp. It's about how have you lived for the last 20 years of your life. And for me personally, I've lived an exceptional life in terms of my boxing career and in terms of keeping in shape, keeping discipline, keeping the mind sharp as well as the body. So there will be no banana skins. There will be no slip-ups. There will be no mistakes. There will only be devastating punches and a KO to finish this fight.
And final one to yourself, Chris Eubank Jr. The star of the middleweight division in Riyadh's season has been Hamza Shiraz. I can see him in attendance here. Are you looking to put on the kind of statement performance that shows you're top dog?
You know, in my opinion, in the middleweight division, nobody comes close to me. You can put any name in front of me, you can put any man in front of me, and they're going to get dealt with accordingly. And you guys will see why I say these things in a couple of days' time.
Okay, best of luck to you, Chris Eubank Jr. Kamil Szeremeta, Saturday night, the Riyadh season debut of Chris Eubank Jr. Let's head up to cruiserweight, where we've got world title action. Jack Massey, Commonwealth and European champion, challenges Jai Opetaia for the IBF World Cruiserweight Championship. And Jack, it's been some ride, it's been some story, borrowing boots and shorts and all sorts from your amateur days, and now you sit here hours away from the opportunity of a lifetime.
It's a massive opportunity, and like I said it before, I know an opportunity when I see one, and I'm going to give it my all. And he'll need that sword what Chris has got next to stop me coming at him on Saturday night, because I'm giving it my all. You know, the reasons why I do this, I'm doing it for my little girl and my family. You know, that's the fire in my belly. And I know he's got the same, he's got a family himself. You know, we're both killers. And that's why it's going to make a fantastic fight. It's going to make a very, very tasty fight. So for the fight fans, it's going to be a great night. And for me, it's going to be a great night because I'm going to come out of there with that belt.
Jai Opetaia has a bit of a pattern of destroying British fighters. He's got a good record against Brits. But you seem to come here with genuine belief that you are going to rip that title away and change your life. How's the fight actually going to play out, Jack?
Listen, a lot of people are getting it twisted. You know, I'm just another Brit coming over here and going to take a knee or a payday or whatever. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry, but you're sadly mistaken. It's not happening. You know, I'm going to show him who I am on Saturday night, and it's not just another Brit.
Well, let me bring you in here, Jai Opetaia. You had your eyes laser focused on Jack Massey when he started talking. You're becoming a bit of a Riyadh season regular, but actually this is the first time defending the title. Tell us how you're feeling. Tell us what you think about your opponent.
Yeah, we're in for a big card, man, a big night. You know, I'm not expecting an easy fight, but I'm ready. I've ticked every box going into this fight. Let's go there.
This is tense, by the way.
Let's go. Fuck that shit talk, right?
That's it, we're not here to talk. The fight will sell itself on Saturday night. We're both killers. It's going to be a tasty fight, like I said.
Joy, let me just ask you this. There's a feeling amongst pundits and boxing fans that if Jack Massey is going to have success on Saturday, he's going to need to be very aggressive. He's going to need to stick it straight on you. Are you ready for that kind of fight on Saturday?
Whatever he brings, we got an answer for. You know, if he comes aggressive, if he tries to box, I've got an answer for everything he's got. I've got too much ammunition. I've got an answer for everything.
Jack, will you give us your prediction for Saturday night? And don't just give it to all of us. Why don't you look across at Jai Opetaia and tell him?
My prediction, like I said, I am coming home with that title. My little girl is seeing that title.
And Jai, response from you. What's going to happen Saturday night? Tell Jack.
I'm taking that belt home back to my daughter.
Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Jai Opetaia. Thank you, Jack Massey, IBF World Cruiserweight Championship on the line Saturday. That concludes the first part of today's two-part press conference. We're going to do some face-offs down here, and we'll be back very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere.
That was tasty, especially the last two, Jai Opetaia, Jack Massey. I think both of those two fighters know it's going to be a bit of a war. Jack Massey, the bigger of the cruiserweight. Jai Opetaia maybe having something to prove after that last fight against Marius Bradis. But I enjoyed that press conference, and I kind of felt like the fighters were going to talk, right? They're cutting weight, they're angry, the attitude is there, they're just ready to get it on Saturday, Barry.
Yeah, of course. Well, and also you're making weight, so you're a little bit touchy anyway. So the last thing you want is to be sat up there. That's the truth of it, even though you have to do it. And the last other thing you want to hear is the guy you want to fight, you know, giving you, or the female when you're fighting, giving you loads of jip, or telling you how confident they are. So, and certainly, you know, there's a couple of fighters there, but there's no nonsense in them. And I think Jack Massey and certainly Jai Opetaia are two of those. But Ben Whitaker was fun as well. Liam Cameron played his part because he's full of confidence. He thinks, yes, actually, all fighters from Sheffield have that sort of confidence, don't they? That they, you know, they're really good talkers. They're so confident that you can't beat me, you can't beat me.
Yeah, and they have that bit of spite as well, and we've seen that. Yeah, I like Ben. I like him telling Liam Cameron, look, don't worry about this. You're in with an absolute beast here, a potential superstar. It was a good lineup, good verbal from all on the table, and they're just itching to get in there now. Like, the weight is getting close now, but they've all been dreaming of that first belt. They've all been dreaming of the last belt. They've all been dreaming about their arm being raised and being the victor, and they're just desperate to put that into play now and make their dreams come true.
Talking of dreams come true, Mohamed Alakel from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, now based in Scotland. He takes on Jesus Gonzalez. I mean, this must be a dream for him. I mean, making your debut on a Riyadh season card in Riyadh. I mean, I know there's pressure on him to look good under Joe Gallagher, but I mean, sure, it's a dream come true, though.
Of course, you know, all that pressure, but you know, if you're a fighter and a boxer, you know, you've got to get used to pressure. So this is not a bad thing for him. Get used to that expectation of, you know, being the Saudis' only representative here, you know, on this card. So you want to put on a show, but more importantly, like everyone, you know, when they start their career, is just do the basics well. Don't get too excited. And you got Joe Gallagher in his corner, who has a wealth of experience, and he'll know what to say to the guy at the right time. And I'm sure it'll be a good performance from him.
Then the Surgeon Whitaker. 10 rounds scheduled for the IBF International Light Heavyweight Championship.
Ben Whitaker, Liam Cameron. Oof. This one's got a bit of edge to it, a bit of spice as well, and I like it. I want Liam to really put it on Ben, because I want to see what Ben can do when someone decides not to stand back and watch his party tricks.
Yeah, there's so many narratives in this as well. What Liam Cameron's been through, the journey and the trajectory where people think Ben Whitaker's going to go to. Can this man here on the right Liam Cameron become a real-life Rocky story? Ben Whitaker, will he fulfill that promise? There's so many ways that people are going to be interested in this. I think he would have won a lot of fans, Liam Cameron, when they've heard about his story. But Ben Whitaker, he hasn't put a foot wrong yet, and he really, really wants to keep turning heads and putting bums on seats.
Although, Barry, we haven't seen him against the very best, obviously that journey's to come. Can you watch a novice and see things to say, okay, you're going to be that person?
See what everyone just sees, all the showboating stuff, but actually his quality of work is fantastic, and he's more weight in his punch, of course. He's been more strength, but he'll get that as he gets more experience. But his ability, he won a silver medal. His ability is out of question.
The eyes don't lie there. That was the first time we've really seen some spite in the eyes of Skye Nicolson. Raven Chapman, she looks relaxed, she looks ready for this opportunity. You know, she's paved the way, she's done it the hard way. She really believes in herself, respect there, which is always good to see. But it's a good, lively fight this Saturday.
She's almost a smiling assassin, Skye Nicolson. She smiles, and everyone's like, oh, look at her, she's so nice and cute. When she gets in the ring, she does want to do a bit of damage. It isn't just moving and boxing. She can hit a bit as well, Barry. She's got it.
I think so, you know, and she's learning now when to hold her feet and get rid of purchase, but also her feet are her friends, and the boxing ability is what she needs to do. Don't forget that. But Raven Chapman has got decent feet, though Skye doesn't think she does. Decent feet, she's physically strong, and she's supremely fit, so it's a really good fight. This is just...
Okay, this is Chris Eubank Jr. With his sword and attire. I mean, look, forever the showman is Chris, and this is what he brings to these events. But aside from all this stuff, he needs to deliver on Saturday. When I say that, what does that mean for you? When I say he needs, it's not just a W, it needs to
a brutal, destructive finish, because he said it himself. He's not an idiot. He understands he needs to put in a very good performance. Sarah Meta comes in here with no pressure, no expectation, but for Chris Eubank Jr. in the outfit there, really knows this is his time to put some real damage in this division.
Look at Frank there, look at Frank. Oh, Camille, you're my guy, Camille. Taps on the shoulder.
Yeah, so, like, Eubank's not a destructive puncher. Let's not forget that. You know, he has fast hands, he can hit hard. You know, he's athletic, he has a good chin. You know, his fitness is okay, but he only works when he wants to work. So for Sarah Meta, he has to just make Eubank work every second he's looking to take a rest. But the pressure's on Eubank, like it always is. He can't just win. If he trickles to a punch to a victory and it's a struggle, then he's going to be criticised for it.
This one I think is going to be really good here. Jack Massey, who's had a big turnaround since that Joseph Parker defeat, takes on Opetaia, who, again, to repeat ourselves, we all think collectively is the best cruiserweight in the world, but there's one thing us thinking it and him showing it. And he needs to show on Saturday that he is a level above Zerda Ramirez and Chris Billum-Smith and Jack Massey.
Yeah, I agree, but he's in there with such a hungry challenger. Says he's doing it for his daughter, Jack Massey, but then in reply, that's exactly what Opetaia said. The belt's coming back to his daughter. It's a mouth-watering clash, it really is, between two very, very good fighters.
We've seen Opetaia as a destroyer against guys who, you know, below his level, and against Bradus, as brilliant as he was, he didn't have it all his own way. I think with Massey, we're going to see a little bit of a blend of both, actually, where he's you know, he is the more skillful fighter that goes up Opetaia, but Massey's tough, he keeps his shape really well, his structure's good, and he'll come to win. He'll look to throw lots of punches, and he'll try and put Opetaia under pressure. If he can, I'm not quite sure, but he'll make Opetaia work for the win.
Of those undercard fights that you just saw, very quickly, which ones you stand out of those undercards?
I quite like the question marks around Ben Whitaker and Liam Cameron. That for me, is a fight that I look forward to playing out.
Yourself, Barry?
The cruiserweight fight, the world title fight. I think Opetaia, you know, Massey, it'll be a really exciting fight while it lasts. And can Opetaia step up that level and cement his #1 status as the best cruiserweight on the planet?
All right, we saw him on stage with Opetaia, sword in hand as well. Let's hear from Chris Eubank Jr. He's with Todd Grisham.
Thank you, Ade. Indeed, he is carrying a sword. Anybody can carry a sword, but do you know how to use it?
Master at all forms of combat. But this is a ceremonial sword. It's a symbol of the royal family. It's a symbol of war. Saturday night, we're going to war.
Some people see this as almost a stay busy fight, that he's not in your league. Is that the way you view Zarameta?
Nobody in the middleweight division is in my league.
So this is a stay busy fight for you?
Nobody in the middleweight division is in my league.
All right. People have asked you about who you want to fight next. The last few years, you've been almost blasé about looking forward. You're more like, let's see what happens. We'll cross that bridge. But now you're dropping names: Billy Joe Saunders, Conor Benn, Canelo Alvarez. Why the change of tone from you?
There's no change of tone. I want the biggest fights. I want the fights that the fans want to see. I want the world titles, but sometimes wanting something, getting something is two different things. It's a very political landscape out there. It's hard to pin down world titles. So if I can't do that, I've got mega fights to make in all the names you just mentioned.
Started fighting as a teenager. You still haven't fought for a world title. Is that frustrating to you, or is that almost by design that you haven't really pushed hard for a big fight like that?
I don't get frustrated. I take what fight comes. I train hard, I work hard, I dedicate my life, I make money, I win.
Someone mentioned Billy Joe Saunders to you the other day, and that would seem like it really got your interest, that's the man that you really want to get in the ring with. Why is it the Billy Joe Saunders that seems to get under your skin a little bit?
We have a long, dark history here in that ring. He has a win over me, which I don't feel he deserves. I know a better fighter than him. He quit against Canelo in his last fight.
His face was broken. A little bit of credit, no?
You don't know his face was broken. I saw a guy who quit. I saw a guy who, as soon as he got hurt, looked for a way out. That disgusts me when I see fighters do that. I don't like that man, and within the next 12 months, me and him are going to have the rematch.
Appreciate the time and be careful with that ceremonial sword. You don't want to get hurt.
Don't worry, I'm not going to poke anyone's eye out.
Appreciate that. Back to you guys.
Chris Eubank Jr., just a character. Brad Jacobs has joined us in studio, COO of Top Rank. Brad, great. We don't see you enough, Brad. What's going on, Brad? We don't see you enough. Brad, what do you make of Chris Eubank very quickly? Obviously, we're going to talk about Artur Beterbiev, your guy. But what do you make of Chris Eubank?
Look, he's a polarizing figure to say the least, right? So, but he gets the job done in the ring, so that's all we can ask for.
Yeah, he gets the job done in the ring, not as well as your guy, Artur. 20 fights, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. The biggest test of his career, we think. You don't know how this is going to play out. What's it been like promoting someone like Beterbiev?
Well, look, what you see is what you get with Beterbiev. You know, just straight shooter, gets to the ring, does his job. Can't argue with perfection. 20-0, 20 knockouts, like you said. I know the three of you have said the other guy's going to win, but
I can be swayed, Brad. I can be swayed.
Look, it's a 50-50 fight. I really believe that. But, you know, I think the perfection that Artur has shown so far will show true again on the night.
Brad, many are calling this fight Bull versus Matador. It's more than that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think this is the most important fight of the year, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about what's out there, it's up there. You're talking about undisputed, undefeated. A guy who wins is definitely going to the Hall of Fame. So there's a lot on the line.
We're talking about we've all picked Bivol, but then we're all given the reasons why Beterbiev can win the fight.
Yeah.
That's what makes it a great fight. And I wanted to talk to you about you being involved in some of the greatest fights ever. And where does this match up?
Look, I spent 6 years with Roy Jones, greatest light heavyweight that ever lived, right? And since Roy's reign, this is certainly the most important light heavyweight fight. And like I said a little earlier, I think it's the best and biggest fight of the year.
Yeah. How does Roy get on with either of these?
How would he get on?
Yeah.
That's another story.
By the way, Brad, I don't know if you know Darren, he causes trouble quite a lot. He always does this. Look, Beterbiev looked just incredible, right? I mean, I wish he was younger. He's 39 now. I spoke to him a couple of days ago and I mentioned the jump to cruiserweight as a possibility. Yeah. If he does come through on Saturday, is that the next jump, cruiserweight?
Look, that's all up to him. I mean, obviously, there's an opportunity. He'll take it. He's just such a efficient light heavyweight. I can't see him leaving the division, but you never know.
Brad, when you look behind us and you look at the setting, again, you've done some incredible fights, MSG, Las Vegas. How incredible is this setup here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia?
Look, His Excellency and Riyadh season have taken to a huge new level. I mean, the production you see behind us, the ones you see on the night, opening ceremonies, it's just above and beyond.
Yeah, Brad, back to the fight itself. Where, in your opinion, does the winner go?
Well, Hall of Fame we talked about. Yep. It's going to be tough because they're the two top guys in the division, and it's sort of, not a lot of amazing challengers below them. So we'll have to see, but someone will always emerge, and there'll be a good challenger. You never know. We'll see how the fight goes. Maybe there's a rematch.
Maybe there is. Brad, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you very, very much. Undisputed, we've all had a go at the game. It's fantastic. Here's a reminder of that special game that is out right now.
For the first time in over a decade, a major boxing video game has hit the scene on Xbox and PS5. It is Undisputed, and for the first time, the fighters competing in this weekend's Riyadh season card are getting their hands on it. Let's see how they do. So the verdict is in, ladies and gentlemen. What do the fighters think about Undisputed? I'd say it's a smashing success.
Incredible. Honestly, it is such a fantastic game. I've had a little go myself. I'm not the best at it, but I'm going to keep on going at it. Todd Grisham's done amazing to get this off the ground, so congratulations to everyone. All right, if you want to know a bit more about the two guys in our main event, Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol, this might help. This is Large from Barstool in a fantastic Origins piece.
October the 12th, live from Saudi Arabia, two undefeated titans put it all on the line as they stake their claim for the light heavyweight throne. Beterbiev versus Bivol.
You know, when I was a little kid, I have many fights in the street.
Okay.
And my older brothers decide to put this energy in some sport, you know, and I have less fights in the street.
When I was going in the ring against guys my age, I was feel myself more confident that he's a kid, like,
right.
You know,
Yeah.
because I was training with older guys. I was competing sometimes with older guys. I don't know, I just was enjoying the boxing.
Right.
Both guys have kind of dedicated their lives to the sport. You know, I'm sure without knowing too much, both upbringings were pretty tough, you know, and humble, to say the least. But both guys have made the moves in their career to follow their dreams in boxing.
Yeah, it's injuries. I think it's part of sport.
Yeah.
Injuries always comes with sport, any sport, you know. It's happened, and I try to keep this fight, like to do this fight, even I have injury, but it's a little bit tough, like, you know, and our team, everyone, doctor and everyone say, like, we need to postpone this fight.
Right.
But I don't want to do postpone.
Came through the pros, had a little bit of an injury a couple times here, got held off, but then all of a sudden Callum Smith happened, and I felt like he turned back the clock.
Callum Smith backed into the ropes now. Beterbiev pouring it on. Right hands, left hands. Smith is down for the first time.
You know, Beterbiev is the more. I feel he has the tools to do it. Bivol's going to have to step up a bit more.
So many fighters have had success early against Beterbiev, but no one's been able to keep him off for the duration. And it's going to take a master boxer like Dimitri Bivol to do it.
For both fighters, adversity has been a constant companion, but it's also become a source of strength. Beterbiev is a father of 4 now, so he's fighting for more than just money or for titles. He's fighting for his family, he's fighting for the future of his children, and for the pride of his ancestors.
He hasn't shown anything but brilliance, right? So he's up very high, and I don't think we've seen the best of Artur now. And the thing I love about him is he's going to come in for the kill and go for the knockout.
I think these guys are tough, focused, that mentality, that real stoic, I'm going to do it. That's their mentality.
So for Bivol, humility probably is his greatest asset, even though he's become an international superstar. And that's because every fight that he takes, he sees it as a chance to pay back that family that's made so many sacrifices for him. And he's proving that success doesn't necessarily change who you are.
I wanted to fight against the best boxers in light heavyweight divisions. Was two my goals, to make my name in this sport. And he has this belt, so Artur Beterbiev, thank you.
You know, here, for me, you've got two of the best fighters in the world, two pound-for-pound greats. I actually think this is the best fight in boxing.
And when you take both of those into consideration, they've done everything. Both guys independently have an incredible body of work, and their styles just complement each other.
It's an intriguing fight. It's a, you know, I mean, it is a Game of Thrones, isn't it? You've got 4 belts there, and somebody's going to walk away with those belts.
Dimitri's ice cold. So's Artur, to be fair.
This great event will be shown worldwide on DAZN.
Alrighty, guys, that's it. We got nothing left to do but fight. And I want to stress one last time, this fight is between two very different individuals, different styles, different upbringings, but they're fighting for the exact same thing, and it isn't titles. They're fighting for their legacy. They're fighting for their integrity, their identity, and most importantly, their family.
Isn't it? It's great to see that. Great job there by DAZN. All right, I can see the co-main and main event fighters are on stage, as is the legendary Hall of Fame commentator presenter Michael Buffer. So let's throw to your MC, Mr. Michael Buffer.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the final press conference for an evening of world-class professional boxing and an evening of history, which is about 48 hours away. And it's all brought to you by Riyadh SEASON, along with the General Entertainment Authority, promoters, Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotion, Bob Arams, Top Rank Boxing, and Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, in association with Gold Star Promotions, Boxer Promotions, World of Boxing, and Sella. Sanctioned by the Saudi Tourism Authority, the Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Suleiman Al Habib Medical Group, Saudi Airlines, New Muraba Development, and Lucid Motors. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, special thanks to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian to the two holy mosque, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, Turki Al Sheikh. And now, ladies and gentlemen, when I said at the beginning, this will be a night of history, just think about this. 56 years ago, Dick Tiger was knocked out in Madison Square Garden by Bob Foster. Bob Foster was recognized as the undisputed light heavyweight champion. Since then, only 2 others have had that title. In over half a century, 3 fighters coming into tonight have been recognized with the distinguished title of undisputed light heavyweight champion. Michael Spinks, of course, and a quarter of a century ago, Roy Jones Jr. was the first in the 4-belt era. So now, going into this fight, this main event, Saturday night, it indeed is an evening of boxing history. Once again here at the Kingdom Arena, where just a few months ago, we had boxing history with an undisputed heavyweight championship. So, ladies and gentlemen, they'll tell us more about everything will be our press conference now. So let me introduce some of the people that are seated behind me. First of all, representing Boxer, the CEO, Ben Shalom. Spencer Brown, founder and CEO of Gold Star Promotions. Representing the World of Boxing, Vadim Kornilev. The Chief Operating Officer for Top Rank Boxing, Brad Jacobs. For Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn. And for Queensberry Promotions, Mr. Frank Warren. So, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, when I introduce Brad Jacobs, I would like to add that 42 years ago this month, Brad Jacobs hired me for my first job as a ring announcer. And I was so horrible, ladies and gentlemen, that it was 20 years before he admitted it. So now let's meet some of the fighters that are here tonight and that will be coming out for this special press conference. In addition to our main event, we have a very special heavyweight contest, which will be for, let me make sure I get this right, 12 rounds of boxing for the British Commonwealth and WBA International Championship. The two fighters fighting are both undefeated and look for a big future in the heavyweight division. So first of all, let's meet the challenger. Undefeated in 9 fights, 8 victories, 6 wins by knockout with 1 draw. He is Big Fraser, the Eraser Clarke.
I win. Don't want to see me shining, I win. You don't want to on a mic sing, I win. Your girl wants your mic sing, I win. Every day I go in, I win. See the diamond in my ring, I win. That's a diamond for a king. Don't know why MCs want to try team when you know who you're gonna get is a merkin. Yo, it's all switched up now. Real dons and I make big shot, wow. As soon as you hear it's me, but there is a rebel next, but you know you're gonna hear it's Pam and the Kings. And you know we don't follow. So I touch asking, no, I don't follow. Yeah, I'm a scholar.
Here he is. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Big Fraser, the Eraser Clarke. And let's bring to the stage his opponent. He is also the reigning champion for the British Commonwealth champion. Undefeated in 18 fights, 17 wins, 9 big KOs with 1 draw. And he is Fabio Wardley.
Cause I'm bad for your health. I come low stealth, dropping bombs on your moms. Call bombs. Do a foul mind, my no outline, soda for a six, so always let tricks know. And friends know we got that endo. No, I'm not a sucker, sitting in a house of pain. And no, I'm not the butler, I'll cut ya, head cut ya. You say you can't touch this, and I wouldn't touch ya. It'll let you know, boy.
Here he is, Fabio Wardley. Undefeated versus undefeated for that contest. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, history. This will be an undefeated champion versus an undefeated champion for the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world, our main event. Let's bring out both fighters. First, with a perfect record consisting of 20 fights, 20 victories, 20 wins by knockout. It's all perfect. Here is the unified, reigning and defending WBC, WBO, IBF, undefeated light heavyweight world champion, Artur Beterbiev. And his opponent, also with an unblemished, undefeated record, 22 fights, 22 victories, 11 big wins by knockout. He is the reigning, defending, unified WBA, IBO, undefeated light heavyweight champion of the world, Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol. Ladies and gentlemen, the fighters are here. They're in place. Now to take over, please welcome our host, DAZN.
Thank you, Michael Buffer. I tell you, you know it's a big fight feel when Michael Buffer is in town. Let's get a round of applause for Michael Buffer, please. And this is a big fight. This is the fight, undefeated versus undefeated for undisputed in the light heavyweight division. And the chief support is a thriller. Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clarke. If you watch the first fight, you'll know. If this fight's half as good, a quarter as good, we are in for a treat on Saturday night. Well, let's speak a little bit to the promoters first. Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren, I will begin with you. It's been a year of Riyadh season. I can't believe it. I don't know where the time's gone, but what an incredible year and what an incredible event on Saturday.
It's all of those things. You know, this last year has probably been the most exciting, revolutionary period in world boxing. There's no doubt about it. What Riyadh season has done and the fights that they've made happen have been historic. And we're opening the Riyadh season 2024 with the 4 Crown showdown, headed by 2 undefeated fighters in a very historic fight. As Mike said earlier, I think it's 2002 since the last undisputed fight, and it's a long time, but let's look at what we got now. We have got 2 of the best light heavyweights in the world, both undefeated, one with a perfect record, and the other one's got a perfect record. He's undefeated. It's just such a superb fight, and anybody who knows anything about boxing will know they're in for a treat on Saturday night. This is where it doesn't get any better. This is what boxing's all about. We've had great fights in the past, and this one, I'm sure, will be an unbelievable fight that people will not forget about, and it will be a memorable occasion.
Thank you, Frank. And just a quick one from you before we head on soon to Wardley and Clarke. Fabio Wardley is your man. Tell us why he wins on Saturday night.
Well, it was a great fight last time. It was a marvellous fight. And Fabio's now signed with us, and we're delighted that he's on board. We've been working very hard to make that happen. I felt that he got the fight last time, but irrespective of that, Saturday night, he's got to show what he's all about. Go in there and make a statement. And if he makes a statement, he gets himself at the big table with the heavyweight scene. And there's nothing more exciting in the world at the moment than the heavyweights. There have been some brilliant fighters in the Riyadh season, superb fights, upsets, you know, just fights that you won't forget about. It's just been a tremendous year. And next year, after the fight, the rematch happens on the 21st of December, those 3 belts, there's going to be some mandatories due. You're going to get Daniel defending his title, and we'll be announcing that hopefully soon. It's going to be really a big fight amongst all these guys who are coming through, these younger generation fighters, to be in a position to fight for either a mandatory defence or maybe the belts fragment, who knows. But this is a great opportunity to make sure you're involved in the big fights of 2025. It's a massive incentive. And I believe Fabio, who's done it the real hard way, coming from white-collar boxing and making his mark over the last few years and becoming British champion, this is something of a special opportunity for him. And again, I want to thank Riyadh season for making this fight happen and being part of a historical night of boxing on Saturday.
Thank you, Frank. Eddie, I'll bring you in here. Eddie Hearn, of course, of Matchroom Boxing. We'll speak about the main event shortly. Plenty to talk about there. But your opening thoughts on the card, and it probably couldn't happen without Riyadh season, right? Tell us your thoughts.
Well, it definitely wouldn't happen without Riyadh season. And remarkable to sit here 1 year on from the beginning of this journey, this project. I think most people in boxing would call it a dream, to be honest with you. I remember sitting in my hotel room watching Fury against Ngannou. I didn't think it would be very good. I didn't think it would be very big. I was unusually wrong. I sat there and I thought to myself, why aren't I there? Why aren't I involved? And after I slid into His Excellency's DMs, to a lot of unanswered DMs, by the way, eventually I got in front of him. And he told me that this project, this dream, this love of boxing for Riyadh season was going to be a fast-moving train. No one expected it to move at the speed of light. In 1 year, the sport has completely changed. And what we've seen is the best fighting the best consistently over time. From Fury against Ngannou, to the Day of Reckoning, to Joshua against Ngannou, of course, Fury Usyk, the undisputed history-making heavyweight matchup, to one of the greatest fight cards America has ever seen by a Riyadh season, to the record-breaking night at Wembley Stadium just a couple of weeks ago when Riyadh season broke all attendance records, to here on Saturday night. For me, as a fight fan, probably the best of the lot. And then we move on again to December 21st. This is a dream for everybody involved in the sport of boxing. It's changed the lives financially of fighters. It's changed the life of enjoyment of people in the industry, not just fighters, promoters, managers, people in the media. And Riyadh has become a second home to many of us. And we feel very strongly and very passionately, not just about the movement of Riyadh season, but the country itself and the way that we are received as an industry when we are here. We are all happy and eternally grateful for the opportunities that have been presented by His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, by the Crown Prince, because without them this would not be possible. And we're all sitting here today, lucky people. Look at us. This is boxing. When have we seen this before in our lifetime? Never. Let's embrace it. Let's keep making this sport great. And let's get ready for an incredible night on Saturday. And I know that he receives a lot of thanks, but without the passion of His Excellency, we would not be sitting here today.
Yeah.
What? Huh?
He forgot the 5v5. I know he did. I know.
We've got another 5. I'll get my revenge. But I know you give me a lot of stick, but thank you, genuinely. And I think a big round of applause for His Excellency for everything he's done for boxing so far. That's it now. That's all.
And thank you from us for what we've, especially the 5v5.
Great stuff, Eddie. A chilling reminder there of the scoreline. Just a quick one. You've also got Skye Nicolson in against Raven Chapman. I'm sure you're looking to maybe clawing back some of those points.
Well, we need to. It's another opportunity to get a point back. We've got Masood coming up against Liam Davis. We made another incredible fight, Dennis McCann against Peter McGrath. I mean, somehow His Excellency has got me and Frank Warren making the best fights in British boxing in an hour. And it's incredibly enjoyable. And, you know, of course we want to win. But we also want to deliver the fans the greatest fights that can be delivered. And we're seeing that time and time again. And this fight on Saturday, for me, I think it tops them all. Yep. One of the purest, one of the greatest fights. 2 incredible undefeated champions for all of the marbles in the sport of boxing. The undisputed dream. Wherever you are in the world, if you're not lucky enough to be in Riyadh, then tune in on Saturday night.
Thank you very much, Eddie. We'll come back to you shortly to speak a little bit more about the main event. Plenty to discuss there. Let's bring in Spencer Brown of Gold Star Promotions. Spencer, from those early conversations all that time ago, could you have imagined that all of this would have happened, all of these amazing shows? Tell us what you're thinking and how much are you looking forward to Saturday?
Well, I can only reiterate what Eddie said, really. It's been a dream from start to finish. And Turki Al-Sheikh and all his team, they're just a marvel to work with. It's, you know, there's no tentativeness about them. If they say they're going to do anything, they do it. They don't just tease you with fights and say you're going to do this fight and do that. They do it. They put their money where their mouth is. And they changed a lot of people's lives. And he certainly changed my life. And he's a wonderful man. So is all his team. And we come here, and it's like a second home. Like Eddie said, it's like a second home, and we really, it's class and quality everywhere. You know, we come into the country, and everything is quality about it. As you see here, you just don't get it anywhere else in the world. It's of the highest quality, everything. You know, and I can only say I just hope the dream continues. And the fights at the weekend, both 50-50, can't wait. A boxing lover's dream. And thank you very much for everything you've done for us. Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you, Spencer. Brilliant stuff. Well, let's start talking about these fights. Of course, we've got a thrilling heavyweight rematch. Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clarke, the first one was so good, so good. Now, I want to first go over to Ben Shalom, who, of course, represents Fraser Clarke. Ben, state your case. Why is your man going to get the job done on Saturday?
Look, first of all, I want to echo those words. Thank you to Riyadh Season. Thank you to His Excellency. It's an honour to be here. To have Chris Eubank Jr and Ben Whitaker on the same card. To have Jack Massey taking on an absolute dream fight against Jai Opetaia. And then for me to get the best fight of the year on again, the rematch for Fraser Clarke. I think ultimately, when Fraser first took on this fight, it was very, very early on in his career. He still has the chance to become the fastest heavyweight to a British title ever if he wins on Saturday night. I believe it's his time. It was a very, very good fight the first time. I think Fraser's learned the worth of 3 or 4 fights from that first fight. I think it's time to step up a level. I think he's going to show his pedigree. I think he's going to show his class. People talk about round 13, but I think this can be a different fight, a fight where Fraser Clarke really makes his name in the heavyweight division.
Thank you, Ben. Let's hear from Fraser Clarke. Fraser, I've heard you say that you are 1,000,000% ready for this fight and you just can't wait to hit something. Well, that something is someone. He sat over there. It's Fabio Wardley, itching, ready to go.
Again, I just want to thank everyone for making this possible. Big shout out to my amateur boxing club, Burton-on-Trent ABC. I started there 11 years old, and to be in this position now is incredible. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's been part of the journey. Saturday night, you're right, Dev. You know, I've been itchy knuckles now. It's been a long week. Felt like I've repeated myself a million times. But the talking's nearly over, and it's almost time, yeah, to land them gloves on Fabio.
You've been pretty emphatic in saying this time you will win by knockout. You will knock out Fabio Wardley. Did you see things in the first fight to suggest that you can indeed do that?
I got a lot of belief from the first fight, Dev. And this time the mission is seek and destroy. I've done everything in the gym to make sure that happens. I'm switched on, focused. And my desire and my hunger to become a British champion is as big as ever.
Well, let's see what the desire and hunger is like from Fabio Wardley. Fabio, in the first fight, an absolute thriller. You knocked down Fraser Clarke. How can you keep him down?
Yeah, look, the first fight was a thriller. Sometimes you need the right dance partner, to bring out those kind of special fights, special occasions, and for me, there seems to be something between me and Fraser that we gel. Those fights come together. I even remember coming to Riyadh to commentate on the Fury Usyk card, and His Excellency himself obviously watching the fight and saying, when are you going to do the rematch? We want to see it, we want to see it. And I said, as soon as you say the word go, I'm ready to go. And thank you to you, His Excellency, for having me out here again. I had the opportunity, honoured enough to be here for the first ever Riyadh season, obviously with Fury and Ngannou, and I'm back again for the opening of Riyadh season. So thank you to him. But looking towards Saturday night, look, I saw the damage and the effect that my punches had on Fraser Clarke in the first fight. So there's areas of mistake I made there. A few little minor tweaks needed to be made on the follow-up. I think he got away with it a bit by, like you say, Dev, I knocked him down, but I think it was, he was saved by the bell. It was bang on the end of the round. So look, if I get him going in the first minute, second minute, one thing you know about me is I don't let my opponents breathe. Once I have them going, once I have them hurt, they don't usually end up making it out of that ring.
Are you expecting the same Fraser Clarke that you saw before? We spoke about this earlier in the week, and you mentioned you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Is that very much what you're thinking?
Yeah, look, I think he's smart enough as a boxer to make some adjustments. Whether they will have an impact and whether he'll be able to execute them on the night is a different question entirely. But yeah, look, I do have a strong belief in you can't teach an old dog new tricks, especially when it comes to me, the way I've come into boxing, the way I've done things has been so different, and I've learned on the fly, and I can always change and I can always adapt. So in the middle of the fight, I can change things entirely, and I don't think that's the same for him. He's boxed a very similar way for a long period of his career. So once things start to get a bit heated in there, once sweat starts going and blood starts flying, I think he's going to resort back to kind of just what he knows normally, and that's going to be my area for attack.
Well, Fraser, I'm not going to call you an old dog, but can you learn new tricks? Have you got something new for Fabio Wardley on Saturday?
Dev, with all due respect, I've got nothing else to say really. Seek and destroy, and that's it. I've come for a fight. We've got a fight on Saturday night. Tune in and watch. It's going to be destructive.
That is the prediction. That is the war cry from Fraser Clarke. Fabio Wardley, how do you respond? What is going to happen on Saturday? Give us your final prediction.
Look, Dev, with me, it's war by name, war by nature. Wardley's in the name. It's all there. You know what you're going to get. I've said it from the start. I'm not coming to Riyadh season. I'm not coming to the biggest stage, the biggest event, one of the biggest boxing events that happen in years, and not perform and not put on a show. So for me, it's that bell goes, knuckle up, walk forward, round 13, carry on. Let's get things moving.
Let's go. Come on, Fab. Handshake now. I know we're going to do a face-to-face in a minute. Let's do one now.
An impromptu handshake here between Fraser Clarke and Fabio Wardley. I don't know if we need security. Thank you very much, Fraser the Eraser Clarke. Thank you, Fabio Wardley. What a fight. What a fight. That was serious up there, by the way. They sort of didn't want to let go. That is the chief support on Saturday night. Huge rematch. Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clarke. It's now time to start talking about this main event. Undefeated versus undefeated for Undisputed. And if that sounds familiar, it's because we did it in May. We did Fury Usyk. Same thing in the heavyweight division. This time in the light heavyweight division. I want to bring in Vadim Kornilov from Team Bivol here. Vadim, you've been with Dimitri every step of the way. Finally, fight night is here. Tell us why your man wins on Saturday.
It's hard to add much when you have Eddie Hearn in your corner. You know, he lays everything out for you and he says everything. But I'm going to try to add a little bit on Dimitri that I think is important. Of course, I want to say thank you to His Excellency, Turki Al-Sheikh. If it hasn't been for him, this fight would have never happened. And if it did happen, it would not be on any close terms to what's happening today. This is now a fight that the entire world is going to see as one of the biggest fights in the world. And thanks to Riyadh season and everybody involved, they made it happen. Thank you to Team Beterbiev. I appreciate everybody and the mutual respect. As far as Dmitry, you know, we had a very, very good camp. Gennady Mashyanov, Taylor Ramsdell, everybody put in the work. Dmitry's confident, he's ready to go. I've been with Dmitry in the professional career, it will be 10 years in November of this year. And I remember ever since I met him, he was never really satisfied with whatever he was achieving. Whenever he was, you know, he became a world champion pretty quickly. He was beating tough opposition in his first 10 professional bouts. But he was always kind of saying, you know, there's something else there. There's, you know, there's that undisputed. Only when I'm undisputed can I really call myself a real champion. Because when there's other champions in the division, he's like, I don't really feel that I'm a champion. And he's always asked for this specific fight. He's always, even before Beterbiev was on the line, before Beterbiev was the opponent with all the other belts, he always said, you know, I'm shooting for undisputed. That's my legacy. That's what I'm here for. When it became Beterbiev, for 3 years, Dmitry has been saying, I want this fight. The fight has to happen. I'm ready for this fight. And even though some people have mentioned things on the timeline, but we were doing everything to make it happen, and the moment was right now. Today I was doing an interview with somebody in the press, and a lot of the interviews that we did during this fight week, a lot of people are talking about Artur Beterbiev, and they're talking about the power and the aggression and how do you deal with that? You know, the questions are very similar. And somebody asked me today. And I just thought about it, and I thought it was important to mention. Yes, power. Yes, aggression. But this is the sport of boxing. It's a science. There's a lot more attributes to an athlete. And what came to my mind was the words of Bruce Lee. He once said, be like water. And I thought that was very important to mention. I know Dmitri's never going to say it because Dmitry just kind of accepts and he says, you know, okay, yeah, there's power. I have to deal with that. You know, I'll see how that goes. But water sometimes, when it's consistent, properly managed, when it's not overly aggressive, with time, it can protrude, it can weather through the sturdiest of rock. And I think that's an important answer for all the press that have been asking. Because I believe the boxing skills and the science and the persistence and the balance is going to be a very important factor in this fight. And I appreciate it. Thank you everybody, and I appreciate everybody who made this happen.
Great stuff. Thank you, Vadim. Love that. Be like water. Let's hear from Team Beterbiev. Let's bring in Brad Jacobs, who joins us from the States, representing Top Rank. Brad, you have been ringside and watched so many of this man, Artur Beterbiev's destructions. You've seen it up close. Tell us why your man wins.
It's very simple. It's hard to argue with perfection. 20-0, 20 knockouts. The man has done it. He's a true professional. If you look up the word professional fighter in a dictionary, you're going to see his picture. What you see is what you get. There's so much on the line in this fight. Undisputed, undefeated. The winner checks his ticket to the Hall of Fame for sure. So we're really looking forward to it, and we trust that the knockout power will win at the end of the day.
Okay, Eddie Hearn, just want to bring you back in here before we speak to the fighters. If you would like to address a comment that you have made about Artur Beterbiev being arrogant. I think you also said that you can get under his skin and rattle him. Give us an update on how that's going and give us your thoughts.
Thanks, Dev. Did I say that? I can't remember. I think he's arrogant. I think all fighters are arrogant. I think you have to be arrogant. But it was more of a frustration to make sure the world is aware of what this fight is and what it means. Because as stone cold as Artur Beterbiev is, and as stone cold as Dmitry Bivol is, there's still that young boy that found boxing, that changed their life through boxing, that had a dream to win every belt in the sport. And sometimes one-word answers don't always tell me the pure emotion and meaning of what victory would do for them on Saturday night. Artur Beterbiev is one of the greatest fighters of our generation. And the man to my right is one of the purest boxers I've ever seen. And actually, to comment on what Vadim said, Artur Beterbiev has incredible power. Don't worry about the power of Dmitry Bivol. This isn't going to be just a fight of cat and mouse. This is going to be a fight of power on both sides, of heart, of consistency, of feet, of balance, of IQ, of all the wonderful parts, as Vadim says, as the sports science of boxing, the beautiful science. So these guys have dedicated their life to the sport. I think I've slipped out of that question as well as I could. And now we move on to the moment. I didn't get that, but welcome. See you tomorrow. And this is it. This is the moment for both men. I believe Dmitry Bivol will become undisputed world champion on Saturday night. He will achieve his lifelong dream. And he fights to the level of opposition. And he has the greatest opponent in the division in front of him on Saturday night. There is only one man in the world that can beat Artur Beterbiev, and that's Dmitry Bivol. And that will happen on Saturday night in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, Eddie. Half swerved it, I think. I think you said he's a little bit arrogant, so we'll put that to him shortly. Dmitry Bivol, let's speak with you first. Your life has been building to this moment. I've heard you say since you were 6 years old. This is what you have wanted, every belt. Now you are hours away from the big fight. As you look across at Artur Beterbiev, tell us how you feel about this moment.
Hello, everybody. First of all, I want to say thank you all people who was in my career since I started boxing. I want to say thank you all my coaches who was working with me, my team who's now with me, my promoters, Eddie Hearn, my manager, Vadim Kornilov, my promoter, Andrei Rybinski, and all of it helps to me to be here. And of course, I want to say big thank you to Saudi Arabia, Riyadh DAZN, and personally to Turki Al-Sheikh. If it's not him, this fight, I don't know when could happen. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. I hear you.
Dmitry, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
The man sat across from you, 20 fights, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. You've never faced anyone like that. Nobody has. Does it make you more nervous than your other fights when you think about his power and what he could do?
You know, every time when I think about my opponents, I'm getting excited because One of them is the face of boxing. It's exciting to fight against this guy. Another one, he has around 50 fights, never lost. Another guy, he's a champion also, and it makes me more excited, not nervous, not something. And Arthur, he's a great champion. He has what I want. He has belts. And it's not only about belts. When I look at his skills, I want to check my skills also against this amazing fighter.
Dimitri, just another one. I've heard you say that you need to be perfect, really, in this fight. You need to win every round. But do you accept that there will be moments in this fight where you will have to stand and fight with Artur Beterbiev?
You know, in my training camp, in my head, always I'm trying to realize how it goes on. And there is a lot of different scenarios. And usually that fighter will be more calm in some situation when he realized it before. He's ready for everything. If he trained some things in his training camp, and this happened in the ring, and he more confident to some situations. And of course, against Beterbiev, we had to do great camp. We had to think about different scenarios, and we did. And now I'm just curious how it will be in the ring.
Well, let's bring in Artur Beterbiev, unified world champion. Artur, you have been on a mission to collect every belt in your division. You have these belts left here. How does it feel to see them? How does it feel to be so close to winning them on Saturday?
Hello, everybody. I think we talk a lot. I want to say, first of all, thank you for His Excellency for making this fight happen. Thank you very much. What they say? You want to make fight with Eddie? No?
Yeah, he called you arrogant.
Why you do that?
He called you
really
arrogant.
It really can be, but I can do something, you know. Why you?
Don't worry about me. You have to get through him first.
But why you talk like this?
When he's finished with you, it'll be easier for me.
Why? We no need finish with him. I finish with him tomorrow.
Really?
With you,
Saturday?
Today, maybe.
Just
today.
the weigh-in tomorrow?
Maybe today with you.
Maybe. I don't think it would be a tough fight. You need a real
I think
challenge.
you're not good condition now.
I mean, terrible.
Yeah?
But I think you need to switch on for this guy.
Okay. You talk a lot, I know.
That's my job.
Yeah.
You should try it.
Okay, we'll see in Saturday, this Saturday.
Artur, let me ask you this. Nobody has beaten Dimitri Bivol. Nobody has solved the puzzle, including Canelo Alvarez. Why are you the man to solve this puzzle and beat him on Saturday? And you can't say, we'll see.
We'll see. They choose me. They choose me, you know. His Excellency choose me. Okay, let's do it.
You're a natural light heavyweight.
Huh?
You're a natural light heavyweight. Canelo wasn't.
I don't know. You know, it's not my business. Canelo or someone like. I have now fight on Saturday. I'm focused all for this fight.
Dimitri, people have tried to fight Artur. They've tried to box Artur. Some have been winning fights against Artur, but they all get knocked out. Why are you different?
I don't know. I just different. I just have different name, just different body, different skills. This is why it's so interesting fight, because we all know that everybody is different.
You boxed in June. You had a fight with Malik Zinad. You got a knockout. It was the first knockout in 9 fights. Does that give you extra confidence in your own power heading into Saturday?
You know, I have enough confidence even before Malik Zinad. After Malik Zinad, I have enough confidence. But it's good that it happened in June because I needed that fight and I was enjoying that fight. And it helped me better to prepare to this fight, which will happen in Saturday.
Artur, I know that if I ask you what will happen, you'll say we'll see. But what would you like to happen on Saturday? What's your perfect Saturday?
Good fight, I think so. I'm preparing for good fight. We'll see.
Do you have a message for Dimitri Bivol?
Yeah, be ready. I will too.
Dimitri, final message from yourself. He's told you be ready. He's going to try and be too. What's your message to Artur Beterbiev?
I'm ready always. I'm ready for Saturday night. And we will talk by actions in the ring.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The fists will do the talking on Saturday. What a fight. Undefeated versus undefeated for undisputed. We're going to do some face-offs, and we'll see you tomorrow for the weigh-in. Thank you.
Wow, got a little tasty. You know, Artur got a bit tasty there with Eddie Hearn, which I thought was interesting. Eddie doing what Eddie's going to do, right? Stir the pot a little bit. But both fighters now, you can see, are edgy, are tetchy, rightly so. A couple of days away from the big one. As you pointed out, Barry, look, they've got to make weight. They don't want to be here doing this, but it's part of what you've got to do. It's such an incredible spectacle that awaits us this Saturday.
Yeah, we've said it time again, but you can't say it enough. This is a fight that will define the generation of light heavyweights, this generation of light heavyweights for sure. Stylistically, it's a good fight, even if it was at lower level. But certainly, no, at this level, no, it's one of the great fights. And this fight, against Wardley, against Clarke, which I was privileged to be sat ringside for, was a war. And I think it'll be, as you've been saying, Darren, round 13.
Yeah, it will be. I've absolutely no doubt about it. I like the little respect they show, shaking hands up there. But yeah, this catches fire straight away.
Victorious? Big Fraser, the
talking
eraser
to each other as well now.
And Fabio Wardley.
I think Fraser pointed out to Fabio, your nose, obviously, look, that's what sort of opened up early in that fight, and I don't know, it could open up again. I mean, he's been here close to us. It didn't affect him, did it? He doesn't get affected, does he? No, he doesn't get rattled.
I tell you, I've been saying it for a long time. He is such a reactive fighter. He's the most reactive fighter since Nigel Benn. I keep saying that, I keep saying it again. I'm not saying he's as good as Nigel Benn, but I mean, when he's hurt, that's when he's almost the most dangerous. He fires, his instinct to fire back when he's tired, when he's hurt, like Ben used to do at his very, very best. And so he's a real hard man to beat. But Fraser Clarke is technically very, very good, and he's shown now, and he knows that he can do that distance in a war of attrition.
His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh making his way on stage as well for this one. I spoke to him a few months ago and I said, look, what's the fight you want to see? And I reeled off AJ versus Ngannou, Fury, Usyk, and he said this one, Bivol, Beterbiev, just because it needed Riyadh season to happen, this one. The others could have happened anywhere in the world. This one had to be here. Both fighters are going to get paid well, rightly so, because we are talking about a battle to determine who is the best light heavyweight of this generation.
Championship of the world.
If you notice with Beterbiev, all the time in things like this, he's always muttering to himself. And I wonder whether that's some sort of like a prayer or something.
Beterbiev, 20 fights, 20 victories,
That's a great
20
fight.
wins by knockout. Dimitri Bivol, 22 fights, 22
I'm just appreciating the Rocky music in the background as well.
Yeah,
It can never be overplayed, Rocky music.
No, and if any fight deserved
just
this
got that
tune,
correction.
it's this fight. Yeah, and he's picked a great fight, as you said there, Turkey Al-Sheikh. And it proves he's a boxing fan. He lives and breathes this sport now. And he's picked a fantastic fight for us all. What a spectacle this is. Two of the greatest fighters out there today. Two of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. Bull versus Matador. Undefeated versus undefeated. For undisputed. What a fight we have.
When did we get two top 10 pound for pound fighters fighting each other? Very, very rare in boxing history. Let's realise, and they're right, and they're either 5 and 6, 4 and 5, wherever you put them, but they're right next to each other, and that's what makes this just a recipe for an absolute spectacle.
It's a good point you make. I mean, I was thinking about this, and I guess in recent times it's probably Canelo, Gennady Golovkin, the first one, right? We got two pound for pounders battling it out, and this is that, isn't it? Obviously, stylistically different, but this is that. But two pound for pounders.
If we get a fight like that,
the first one.
Wow, mate.
Oh, the first one would be sensational. Give me some of that, please. Please.
I can see it.
I mean, if we get that, then we have to see it a second time and a third time, and I'll take that all day. There he goes, Artur Beterbiev, the unified light heavyweight champion. Maybe a jump to cruiserweight after this, but he's got a job to do on Saturday. And who's going to bet against him going 21, 21, and 21? I wouldn't.
I don't think many would, but this man here with his feet, with his speed, with his ring IQ, he'll have his own say about that.
But he's got to hold his feet at some point. He's going to have to, at some point, Bivol, as beautifully skilled as he is, he's going to have to fight his way out of trouble. Because with Beterbiev, as you mentioned about earlier on about sitting on the ropes, you can't slip and slide and dip your way out of trouble with Beterbiev. You have to fight your way out. Look, Bivol did it against Canelo. Even though I'm picking him to win, again, I'm picking him to win. I'm picking all the reasons why he can't win.
It's funny because you still say Canelo, and Canelo was like that indestructible force, wasn't he? Beterbiev's 20 pounds bigger. He's the same, but just 20 pounds bigger. All right, I'm going to go down the line again. I've done this every day. I have to do it again. I'm going to do it tomorrow as well. Prediction.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Bivol because of the reasons that I've spoken about since this fight was announced. But there has to be a but. And Barry said this, you've said it, we've all said it. There's so many reasons how Beterbiev
I don't like what you're doing there. You're giving yourself an out. You're giving yourself an out, Darren.
Bivol.
Bivol.
That's the biggest asterisk I've ever seen in my life.
It was like Bivol, but...
Can I tell you after round 3, if it goes wrong?
I know what you mean, though, because you know from the first couple of rounds, don't you, who's going to take this? But go on right now, Barry.
I'm sticking with Bivol. I always stick with my first thought, and it's Bivol, but I'm not confident about it. Doing that.
Here we go.
I'm doing it back, and I'm Bivol. I'm going with Bivol.
Okay, cool. I'm Bivol as well.
Yeah.
That means much, but it's a clean sweep
I
here.
can't believe you stayed throughout the week.
Stayed Bivol, stayed Bivol. All right, let's remind you of the fight card and what you can expect on Saturday. It really is something special. We'll kick things off with Marco Maric. He takes on Pablo Rosas. That's a lightweight fight. Mohamed Alakal, the young fighter from Saudi Arabia, and they based in Scotland. He takes on Jesus Gonzalez. Ben Whitaker versus Liam Cameron. They had words today, didn't they? They fight in a light heavyweight showdown. Then the first ever female fight on a Riyadh season card. Skye Nicolson takes on Raven Chapman. Chris Eubank Jr takes on Camille Zaramata for the vacant IBO middleweight championship. Then it is the big boys. And one of the best big boys has to be Jai Opetaia. He takes on Jack Massey for the IBF cruiserweight title. Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clarke. Handshake there. There'll be no handshake, trust me, on Saturday when they throw at leather. They fight for the British heavyweight title. Then Artur Beterbiev takes on Dimitri Bivol for everything at 175 pounds. Wow. All right, all that takes place this Saturday, remember, October 12th. October 19th is the return of the Predator, Francis Ngannou, in what he does best, MMA. He takes on the giant, even bigger than him, Renan Ferreira.
I can remember the first time I ever asked him about his life. And I'll never forget, he's like, it's a long story.
Parce qu'il a été un enfant brave.
De comprendre que cette personne a traversé le désert, traversé la mer, et arrivé à un saut, c'est déjà une victoire.
I've seen Francis now. You know, I've seen him in Saudi boxing Tyson Fury. You hear his story and you're like, man, this is unbelievable. But then when you're standing in the hut where he grew up, you know, you're just like, how did someone from this area of the world make it all the way to the grandest stage? So when you're standing there, it's just hard not to think about how far away those 2 points are.
C'est dans ce décor que la personne que je suis aujourd'hui a été forgée.
It really is good to see Francis Ngannou back in the octagon. I was going to say the ring because obviously his last couple of fights have been in the boxing ring, but this is a true test. He takes on a champion, PFL and Bellator champion. Let's not forget Renan Ferreira. That is next week, Saturday, live on DAZN. Two giants collide, Ngannou versus Ferreira. And by the way, I mean, I've been lucky enough to have seen this, a little snippet of it. Fantastic documentary about Francis Ngannou. They go back, the cameras go back to his home country of Cameroon. It's very emotive. It gets sad at times considering what Ngannou has been through now in the last couple of months, but it is fantastic. It's going to be on the DAZN platform tomorrow. Make sure you catch it as well. It's going to be really, really good. All right, before that though, obviously, we do have the light heavyweight showdown, which is going to be incredible as well. Make sure you tune in. The weigh-ins are tomorrow, and then they throw hands on Saturday. I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait. It's going to be sensational.
2 more sleeves.
2 more sleeves. Just 1, 2. We'll see you then. Make sure you tune in for the weigh-ins tomorrow, showdown on Saturday.
Everything about this event spells big time and the potential impact on both sports, boxing and mixed martial arts.
It's that first punch that lands, dictates who's going to win.
Who is the baddest man on the planet?
Unbelievable scenes.
Greatest fight card, I would say, in the history of the sport. This has been a light bulb moment. 10 boxers from the top 15. That's extraordinary.
Atmosphere building here in the Kingdom Arena.
This one should be a thriller here in Saudi Arabia.
Carlos Alcaraz.
The city at a standstill. At a sold-out Kingdom Arena, the fans hold their breath for a glimpse of their heroes.
And this competition, no one have the golden ball. The next competition, we will double it for 1 million.
Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. It's Godzilla against King Kong.
Yes, it's a perfect matchup for a great fight.
It is lights out! Anthony Joshua!
When I've got through with the rabbit, then we go down for AJ.
Here we are, back in the Kingdom, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for the big one. It is the undisputed heavyweight title fight.
Once you win the Olympic gold, that's one gold that you've won. Now it's time for the undisputed. It's just another step.
What Usyk has done there is incredible. He will go down as one of the greatest of all times.
We're back in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It is the home of big-time boxing. We're ripping up the traditional boxing script. And we're doing something different, promoter versus promoter. This is our first Riyadh season event international. Your first one in America, in LA. The crowd like it. Are we coming back?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
The highest attendance ever for a British boxing event.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
One more time, do a good fight, yes? People! Whoa!